Hi there, I'm Trucker Ray, and before we get to our presentation, I wanted to share with you a new way to contact me. That's right, I finally got a post office box. A lot of you have been sending emails and leaving comments on my YouTube channel, and that is awesome, but I know some of you still like snail mail. So, if you have something you'd like to send, whether it's a card, or you want to buy me a cup of coffee, or whatever it might be, this is where you send it. P.O. Box 12306, Langley, RPO, which stands for Royal Post Office, Logan Creek, British Columbia, Canada, V2Y0Y7. That's P.O. Box 12306, Langley, RPO, Logan Creek, BC, Canada, V2Y0Y7. Now, if you're ready, let's get to our presentation.
Hey friends, it is Trucker Ray out here in beautiful Ontario, Vaughan, Ontario to be precise, enjoying the colors of fall. Look at that leaf. Isn't that beautiful? If you're here for the first time, I am a Christian truck driver that drives the highways, the byways, the interstates, wherever they send me in North America, Canada, US, and a little bit into Mexico. And at the same time, I like to share my faith. I'm not afraid to admit I'm a Christian, even though I could be doing a lot better. But that's why we need Jesus, right? Because we're sinners. And I've been doing this since 2012, sharing my journeys out there in the highway. And there's some of you that have been here since day one, the faithful ones, my loyal YouTubers, and some of you have only been here 24 hours, and I thank you for joining me. If you've been here before, welcome back. My amazing family out there, I am just absolutely thrilled to be out here in Vaughan, Ontario. That's where I am right now at this en route. It's like a big rest area that has a Tim Hortons, it has a restaurant like Wendy's, it has a fueling station, places you can park. It's way better than a truck stop. The only thing I wish it had that it doesn't is showers. I wish it had showers. But you know what? They do have private bathrooms, and there is such thing called a sponge bath if you really need one. But I'm just enjoying this. I don't know if you can see the different colors on some of these trees, on how they're changing like this. And if you look even further around, you can see the yellow trees and some of the orange ones. And this is the time of year that the leaves are just changing colors beautifully. And you can smell it. Who didn't do this when they were a kid? You know what I mean? It's like, it turns you into a child. It really does. But I decided to come here. I did my delivery early this morning at 3 a.m. I got back here, I managed to get a little bit of sleep, but I woke up because of where I am. I don't want to lose the opportunity to enjoy this beauty during this time of the year. I specifically asked my dispatch if you can get me a load to Toronto, because I've been really needing this kind of a trip, just to detach from everything else around you and just lose myself in God's beautiful surrounding. So again, if you're new, good to have you. If you're returning, always a pleasure to have you with me. So you're probably wondering what to expect on this particular video. Well, you know what? I do have a load planned for tomorrow, but I'm not going to say anything about it because it could change. Basically, I decided to just enjoy some of this beautiful landscape, and the load I'm supposed to be taking should take me right along the 17 through Ontario, Northern Ontario, which we're going to see much more of this, and I can't wait. So it's good to have you with me. Welcome aboard. And yeah, here's another leaf. Look at this one. That's nice too. It's kind of changed. It was changing more to red and then it dropped. But you know, another thing that I really liked when I was a kid, how the leaves smelled. It just brings you back to your childhood. I just washed my hands. I can smell more soap than anything. That's no good. But I think I might keep this one. I don't know if it'll decay on me, but it's nice. So again, welcome to my channel. And if you're here for the first time, I encourage you to subscribe, share the video with somebody, and if you could, like it, because that does help the algorithms, helps other people find it, and it actually puts it on other people's channels. And because any channel that has anything to do with sharing how amazing God is, it's under attack. People attack you. The algorithms, when they know you're talking about the Lord, it's like it'll actually unsubscribe people from your channel. I've had that happen. So, but you know what? I don't care, because there's going to be persecution. Jesus said that if they persecuted me, they will persecute you. And I'm receiving that too right now. Persecution from certain people. And you know what? I don't care. Because if I'm being persecuted, that means I am being found worthy to be persecuted like he was. Bring it on. Bring it on. In the meantime, I'm going to continue to enjoy this, because the leaves are starting to, the wind is blowing and the leaves are flying around. And I think I'll just take a little bit more of a walk and enjoy some of this.
Good morning, everybody. I am currently out here in Barrie, still in Ontario, obviously. And I loaded up yesterday. My load got bumped up to Friday. I was supposed to load Thursday, but it got moved to Friday due to, I guess they had to make sure they had enough freight. I'm not sure what the details were, but it gave me an extra day to finish my videos. I hope you've enjoyed the last one, the west to east video, and everything that was included in that video, the Bible break and the trucker's corner. But I am at it again. I am indeed. So I loaded up with about, it's windy, 35,000 pounds of product that is heading. First stop is going to be Calgary, and the second stop will be in Delta. So we have 2 stops to make. I've got to be, hopefully, well, they want me anyway, in Calgary for delivery for Tuesday, which is doable. I'm not going to drive long days, and we'll be all right. We should be good. But overall, my stay in Ontario has been nice. I am really looking forward to the changing colors of the trees. Driving along the Trans-Canada 17, I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, I would say that we're not super light by any means, but we're not over, we're not really, really heavy, so should be an okay ride. It's not really level though, that's for sure, but I've yet to be able to. It's a little lighter on my trailer, but that's all right. So this is Barrie, and the funny thing is, when I was a kid, I lived out here. Of course, I don't remember it. Our parents had a place probably a little on the outskirts of Barrie, but this was one of the places that I lived when I was young. It probably is one of the places I remember the most when I was younger in Ontario, because we lived on a farm. We rented a house on a farm, and I remember watching the gentleman who owned the farm. He would show up every once in a while with his tractor, and he would go through the field, and I remember us, myself and my sisters, running through the cornfields and that. And I remember one time we were running through the cornfield, and we could hear the tractor coming, the one that cuts the corn. Oh, what a amazing rush that was. And I remember my uncle running through the fields trying to find out where we were. We were just creating our own little corn maze. Me and my sister and my sisters and myself. That was just fun. Oh, what is going on here? If you're going to be a driving school, do you really need to go that slow? Oh my word. Road safety. Oh man, there's no way a big truck should be able to pass you on a grade. Oh, that's scary. Well, I guess they got to learn somewhere, but still, if you're going to go on the highway, you should at least really know how to keep up to the rest of the traffic, because that could be dangerous. So anyway, that's enough reminiscing. So today we're going to get, oh my, I don't even know how far we're going to get today. Haven't figured that out yet. I'm just going to enjoy the drive, and as you can see, the sun coming down, and it's already starting to provide a beautiful display on the trees up to the left there, the maples, and I'm so looking forward to this trip, and I hope you guys are too. Again, welcome. It's good to have you here.
Hi everyone, I am Ray Gaucher and welcome to this edition of Bible Break. Such a pleasure to have you viewing or listening if you're watching us on our YouTube channels or on our listening on the podcast, on Truth and Testimony, the podcast. A pleasure to have you with me right now. I wanted to do something a little bit different, something that will boost our spirits, something that will raise our spirits. There's a lot of unrest going on. There's a lot of people dealing with depression, and a lot of it has to do for political reasons, which I just don't think is proper. If people are going to make a big fuss out of their political views, and to the point where they're arguing with people, or there's contention, it's wrong. I don't think anywhere in Scripture does it say we need to do anything like that. We need to remember that God is in complete control of everything, no matter who ends up in office. If someone ends up in office, God has put them there for a purpose, and we need to accept that. If we're going to fight among each other, fight among ourselves, or whatever, we're going against God's will. That's the bottom line. We're going against God's will if we're going to sit there and argue because of the outcome of an election. So, by the time you're watching this, we've already had the U.S. elections. I don't know what the outcome is going to be, but I think it's quite obvious what it's going to be, unless something else happens. But I wanted to share with you Psalm 90 and 91. This is the prayer of Moses to God, and it is to bring us to reality of really who is in control and who has the final say on everything, and who is all-powerful and all-amazing, and that is Yahweh. So why don't we open with prayer. Dear Lord, Heavenly Father, thank you for this platform. Thank you for this time to share this with my viewers. Dear Lord, please help me to read this with the proper pronunciation, with the proper understanding. Please give me the wisdom and the discernment to explain it as I read through it, and that I may make it very clear to those that are listening. And would you bless everyone that is listening and viewing right now in Yeshua's name. Amen. So we're going to be doing Psalm 90 and 91. We are reading out of the Restoration Study Bible, the 4th edition, for those of you that want to know, King James translation. Let's begin. Yahweh, thou hast been our dwelling place in all generations. Before the mountains were brought forth, or even thou hast formed the earth and the world, even from everlasting to everlasting, thou art El. You are God. That is powerful. Just the first verse. Or should I say the first and second verse? Thou turnest man to destruction, and sayest, return ye children of men. For 1,000 years in thy sight are but a yesterday, when it is past, and as a watch in the night. Thou carriest them away as with a flood. They are as sheep in the morning. They are like grass which groweth up. In the morning it flourisheth, and groweth up. In the evening it is cut down and withered. Wow. Yeah, it just shows you how significant our life really is. Without God, this is what we are. Without God, this is what we are. I mean, technically we're still that, but we have hope. We have salvation. This is only going to last for so long. Once we get into eternity, it's beautiful for eternity. All right. Verse 7. For we are consumed by thine anger, and by thy wrath are we troubled. Thou hast set our iniquities before thee, our secret sins in the light of thy countenance. For all our days are passed away in thy wrath. We spend our years as a tale that is told. Wow. The days of our years are 80 years and 10. And if by reason of strength they be 80 years,
Yet is their strength labor and sorrow, for it is soon cut off, and we fly away. Who knoweth the power of thine anger? Even according to thy fear, so is thy wrath. So teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. Use your time wisely. This is a great psalm, isn't it? So teach us to number our days. Teach me, Lord, how to number my days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. Wow, that is powerful. That's something that should be on a plaque. Return, O Yahweh, how long? And let it repent thee concerning thy servants. O satisfy us early with thy mercy, that we may rejoice and be glad all our days. Make us glad according to the days wherein thou hast afflicted us, and the years wherein we have seen evil. Let thy work appear unto thy servants, and thy glory unto their children. And let the beauty of Yahweh our Elohim be upon us, and establish thou the work of our hands upon us. Yea, the work of our hands, establish thou it. Let's move on to Psalm 91. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of Yahweh, He is my refuge and my fortress. My Elohim, in Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler, and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. How's that for confidence? Or should I say, how's that for reassurance? Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. I'm just thinking, the Lord is my shepherd, I will not fear. Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at the noonday. So let's do this one again. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor by the arrow that flieth by day, nor by the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. We should not fear at all. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, because thou hast made Yahweh, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. This has got to be really encouraging for those that are feeling a little down. It is really encouraging me. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. That's a familiar verse. We remember that one in Matthew and Luke. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Again, another prophecy that was mentioned in Luke. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon shall thou trample under feet, because he has set his love upon me. Therefore I will deliver him, I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. Wow. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. See, this is amazing. I'm going to read 14 and 15 one more time. When we are faithful to Yahweh, when we are faithful to Jesus, Yeshua, He is faithful to us. Remember what He says.
Those that confess me before others, I will confess before my Father. That's a promise. So if you have an opportunity to share the gospel with somebody, if you have an opportunity to share what God's doing in your life, you are confessing that He is your Lord and Savior. And because you're doing that, He will confess you before His Father. He's very loyal to us. If we are loyal to Him, He is definitely loyal to us. And it's not that He's not loyal to us if we're not loyal to Him. But I would say that, again, He's not going to push Himself. He's not going to push Himself into our life. Bottom line is, if you're loyal, He's going to definitely be loyal to you. So let's read this again. Because, verse 14 and 15, because He has set His love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. This is the Lord speaking. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. Wow. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. And I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. Now, some of you might think, well, what about those that are dying for their faith? Is God for them? Has God been there with them during that time? You know what? Even in Scripture, and I've mentioned this lots of times, out of most of the apostles that died for their faith, you don't ever hear them in Scripture crying out for help. God gave them the strength to get through that persecution, and they reaped the ultimate reward in heaven. Because, I think about that time to time. How would I react to somebody threatening my life to announce Christ or denounce Him? And I would have to announce Him. Because you know what? To me, it's the equivalent of this. When you go into a dentist's office and you're going to get a root canal done, and it's the anticipation, it's the thought of going through it, it's the most stressful. But once you get into that chair, you get the Novocaine, you're out of there, and then once you're on your way out of there, you don't even think about you don't think about it anymore, that pain, that nervousness, that uncertainty before you got into that chair. You don't even think about it. It's just like a woman giving birth. After she has the child, she doesn't even think about what she went through to get to that point. So if you have to make a decision whether to accept Christ or denounce Him, well, my goodness, it's worth the outcome. It's worth when you make it very clear, I belong to Christ and I will not deny Him, because He says, those who deny me before men, I will deny before my Father. Final verse, 16. With long life will I satisfy him and shew him my salvation. So we'll do 15 and 16. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and shew him my salvation. Just wanted to provide a little bit of encouragement over the craziness that's going on in our world right now. Psalm 90, Psalm 91. Until next time, friends, blessings in the name of Yeshua. Bye for now. Well, good morning, my dear friends. I am out here in Shania, I think that's how you say it, just outside of Thunder Bay. I made my way into Nipigon last night, parked over there, and what a zoo that place is. My goodness. A lot of drivers out there just don't know what they're doing, parking in any spot they want. I was over there at the Petro, right next to the Tim Hortons. Guys parking in the fueling lane to get coffee, and the unprofessionalism in this country, you just don't really realize it until you have to drive out here again. It's just really bad. It's really terrible. There's no professionalism out here. None.
But anyway, we managed to get ourselves a parking spot and a good night's rest. And I just finished getting fuel over here at the Flying J. That location's not bad. That's like a mom and pop location there. They always have fresh water there to, or should I say, they always have the washer buckets for washing your windows. Squeegee buckets, sorry. Just trying to find a right way of saying it. Always filled with water, and so you can do your windows, and the water is always clean, which is nice. And yeah, not a bad little place. So I plan to do a whole lot of driving today. I am going to try to get past, I'm going to try to get into Moose Jaw. That's a lot of driving, I know. We're looking at a full, I might even get, I don't know if I'll get into Moose Jaw, I might get past Moose Jaw. All I know is I'm going to drive as far as I can today. My delivery is tomorrow at 10 p.m. So I will adjust my day tomorrow according to my appointment. So I'll have enough time to deliver my drop. I have 2 drops, one in Calgary, one in Delta. So once I get that one dropped, I can head out and find some place to park. But if my appointment's at 10 p.m., I'm not going to go very far. I might go to, there's a Petra Pass just on the outskirts of town heading east. I might go to that one if I can get in there. I haven't parked there in a long time, but I might go there, see what happens. In the meantime, like I said, got a lot of driving ahead of me today. Thank you, Lord, for another day. Thank you, Lord. good morning, everybody. I made it over here to the Belgoni Flying J out here just outside of Regina. Last night I had no problem getting a parking spot. It's not a bad location. There's always some decent parking here if you get here early enough, and you can also get quite creative with the parking in this particular lot. Beautiful day today. The sun is starting to come out, and yeah, we have a bit of a short day today, 7 hours and 30 minutes to get to Calgary. That is going to get us to our location, but we're not ready to leave yet because we still have some time. I want to make sure I roll in there around 9:30, not much earlier tonight. That way I can get in and get out, and I still have lots of time left on my clock when I want to leave. So I'm going to head over to the Tim Hortons that's just not too far away from here, about maybe 200 feet, 300 feet. Grab myself a coffee and a muffin because I haven't had a Raisin Bran muffin in a while. Good morning, how are you? Good. Can I get an extra large double decaf, please?
Yeah, sure. So that's how you feel, right?
Oh, you can do it. Yeah, sure. If you want. Is it okay? I already washed it out.
Yeah, well, it depends on you. Either you
No, that's fine. That's fine. So double extra large decaf. And do you have any Raisin Bran muffins? Yeah, you do. Can I get one of those heated extra?
Yeah, sure. So like,
Alright friends, it is that time to go. Just before 2 o'clock. And by the time I get there, if there is no holdup, it should be around 9:30, which is perfect. Get there a half an hour ahead of time, get into a door. I think that'll be good. That'll work out really well. Just loving this weather out here right now, because sometimes you come through here when fall or when winter is starting to roll around, it can get really ugly around here. Bitterly cold, ugly, not pleasant at all. So very, very happy about this kind of weather that we're having out here. Okay, the guy sitting at the light, I don't know why he decided to turn now when he had all that time. Jeez. So down the Highway 1 we go, and I do have an appointment for tomorrow, and that's going to be around 8:30 tomorrow night in Delta. So once I'm done doing my delivery today, I'll get as far as I can. I might make it to the Stony Nakota Casino and Resort. There's a truck stop there. I mean, you can never get in there, but you can park right next to the casino. But anyway, we're onward. We're moving forward, moving onward on our way to Calgary. Yeah, if I can spit it out right.
This is Trucker's Corner with Trucker Glenn.
Hey everybody, it is Ray Gaucher, Trucker Ray with Trucker Glenn, and welcome to another edition of Trucker's Corner. How are you, my friend? How is things today?
Things are wonderful, Ray. How are you?
Good. You're looking really good. You look like you just went through some really good grooming.
Yes, I did. Well, 75 looks good on me, eh?
Oh, when did you turn 75?
Yep. Just turned 75. Had a lovely birthday. Everything.
Was that
had a
recent?
couple of parties. Yeah, it was on the 29th.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday. I didn't know.
Yeah. Well, I dropped several hints, but you didn't take the hints.
I didn't. I got so much going on. That's my excuse.
Yeah.
So today we have a very interesting topic. What are we going to be talking about today, sir?
We're going to be talking about, is your equipment safe for the road?
That's a really big subject. Yes.
Yeah, and it's a subject we've touched on it before, and it all depends on the companies that you're driving for. A lot of companies will tell you to just take it out and get it going, but we were talking before the show that I saw a trailer going down the road, and I was probably 2-3 car lengths behind the trailer, and I could read the sign on the side of the trailer. That's how bad it was dog tracking.
Yeah.
And that's a no-no. Like, I don't know what they're like in Canada, but down south they'll pull you over and make you fix it.
I see a lot of that.
Yeah,
in the US.
I know, it's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah. It is.
And especially the Tridents, when you're twisting them around, that's really hard on their loaded. When you're backing into a place loaded, it's really hard on your suspension.
Well,
so
I don't even know why people would even. I mean, how can they not notice that when I'm behind a vehicle like that and I can read the logo on the side of the trailer and I'm right behind it? That's a problem. They can't see that because if it's dog tracking one way, their other mirror should be able to see the logo through their mirror. I mean, when you leave the yard, can you not see that?
I don't know. I was talking to a friend yesterday, and he said that a gravel truck pulled in to fuel up. Of course, they got to lift their box up to fuel up to get to their fuel tanks, and he left with his box up.
Oh man!
How do you not see that stuff? Like, and we've had major incidences with hitting overpasses, and just oblivious. And I think, everybody's got to start getting serious about equipment and how they're driving and put the professionalism back in it. And, when you're hooking up to a strange piece of equipment, your truck inside and out, you've got it all tuned up and ready to go. But when you're hooking up, especially making switches in the yard or switches, some companies make switches right out on the road, and you don't know what you're getting. A lot of times a guy's happy to get rid of the trailer and somebody else's problem, right?
So that was a dump truck?
Yeah, that was a dump truck. We've had 3 or 4 overpasses hit in the last couple of months because the boxes were up.
So what do you think the issue is inside the truck? Do you think the alarm system isn't working? Because it should warn the driver that the box is up.
I don't know that a lot of them have it. I know they're calling for the companies to put warning systems in them. I don't know if a lot of them have it.
That would be weird.
But I mean, you know yourself, Ray, how many times you look in your mirrors, or you're looking left and right as much as you're looking ahead, and I couldn't believe it. I thought we've had so much coverage on the news about drivers with their dump boxes up or their loads too high, or and that's one thing. If you're picking up a trailer with a high load, we talked about this before. Like, don't touch it if it's over height, and you don't have the proper paperwork. That's a big one. That's a major one.
That is a real nightmare, especially. I can't tell you. Like, look at the train bridge on 232nd there on Highway 1 there in the Lower Mainland in the Vancouver area.
Yeah.
Look at all the chunks out of that train bridge.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
I have seen it, Ray.
It's crazy.
I know.
Can you imagine hitting something like that? That would be just, that would be like, okay, I'm done. My career is done. I couldn't imagine that.
Well, there is a truck pulled out of Chilliwack again out of Lickman Road in BC there, and I guess he just hooked up to this load, and the first overpass he hit, he was too high, and I don't know if it was a modular home he was hauling or what, but it was bits, parts, and pieces. It just exploded everywhere. So obviously he didn't get out and check the height.
I don't know why people would not do that. They don't have a tape measure? My goodness. I mean, if I seen something that high, I'd be checking it. I mean, I have a regular standard height trailer, and as you were mentioning on my last video when I was heading through Michigan, those bridges were, what was it, 13.4 or something like, or no, it was 13.8.
Yeah.
13.8.
Yeah.
And you were saying that, my gosh, is he going to make it under that thing? And even I was getting a little bit nervous, but that is a regular standard height. And if you have something that's higher than that, why would you not check that? I don't get that. I mean, and we're talking about knowing the equipment before you go out. I mean, if it's a preloaded flat deck. But the main thing we wanted to discuss, it's just the amount of unsafe vehicles and trailers that are out there on the road. And if you're new to a company and you're given a truck, you really got to go over that thing with a fine-tooth comb. You really do. And every trailer that you pick up, you might think, okay, I'm hooking to it. My dispatch said it's okay. And now I'm just going to take it out of the yard. I did my little pre-trip. I thumped the tires. Everything's good. But did you really thoroughly check that trailer? Because you're responsible for that. You are looking at huge consequences if something goes wrong or the wheels fall off or whatever because you didn't check, or the wheel bearings or whatever. I mean, what are some of the things that when you were driving, when you would hook up to a trailer or a flat deck? You used to do flat deck too, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. I probably did more flat deck than I did van work. So
what is it that you would look at that you would think, okay, I need to check this because this, you know, what were some of the things that you checked because, and you didn't leave the yard unless you were comfortable with that it was safe?
Right. Well, in the day, of course, we used to set our own brakes up in my day. And you always looked at the inside of the tires, because if you had a wheel seal that was going, of course it sprays oil all over the inside of your tires.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing I would check. I would check hub oil, make sure that you can see the hub oil in the sight glass there on your axle, and your lug nuts. If there's rust coming down from the lug nuts, then you could better stop pretty quick and get them checked, get them retorqued or whatever. You don't hear so much of wheels falling off in Canada, but I know when I was going south, there was a lot of wheels that fell off trucks or trailers because they weren't being retorqued or checked, and of course that's a major one. When that happens, if it hits a car or whatever, you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
But those were the two major things. The airlines, I've seen airlines, I picked up trailers, and they're like, the airlines are so down low, they're about 2 inches off the ground, and I used to just take a bungee cord and wrap the bungee cord around them and hook them up so they're at least a foot or two off the ground, because in this weather particularly, once you start going through snow, of course it weights down, and those lines are on a big spring. And a lot of times I'd even take a bungee cord and hook it where the spring goes into the coupler where the airlines are, and because it seems to be a little bit stronger than that spring, obviously. And then when the snow gets on it, it'll weight it down a bit, but not as much as there's just having the spring there. And so those are some of the major things. Also, lights. You know yourself, you go down south and they don't care if you got 1 million lights on the trailer and truck, but they all better be working. And signals and brake lights and whatever, and put your spike down on your trailer when your trailer's low. You load the air up on it and see if you got any air leaks. That's another thing.
Use a bungee cord.
Diaphragm. There could be a diaphragm leaking in the one of the brake pots.
Yeah, I usually take a bungee cord and hook it up to it and hook it up to the bottom of my seat, and then it pulls the spike down. And not only can you check your brakes, your brake lights with that, but you can check for air leaks. One thing that I noticed too about, I don't mean to interrupt, but
I have seen this in yards where drivers will hook up to a trailer, just a regular trailer, and they hook up, they roll up the landing gear, they might thump the tires, and they're gone. And their pre-trip lasted literally 2 minutes. Well, sometimes it takes longer than that to air up the airbags. And I am saying this from personal experience. I've done this before earlier in my days of driving, where I hooked up to a trailer, did my pre-trip or whatever, but there was an issue with one of the airbags, or two of the airbags in the back, and I didn't realize it because I didn't look. And then I drove out, and then I noticed that that trailer was bouncing all over the place. I'm like, what's going on here? Something was wrong. Until I pulled over and realized that two of the airbags in the very back, something was wrong, or the air wasn't getting to them. And that was my fault. So I'm saying this from personal experience. That's another thing too. You want to thump your tires? I always go around now and I take my hammer and I just tap the airbags one at a time as I go around, just to make sure they're inflated, because you don't want to be driving down the road and you've got three airbags working, but one or not working, and you got one that does. It's not going to take much to blow that airbag, and when those airbags go, it's like a shotgun. It's really loud.
Yeah, and the trailer doesn't doesn't track properly, and it affects so many things. But little things like that, like I'm the same as you. I've seen guys when they stop for coffee, they run out of the truck as quick as they can and grab the coffee and have a bathroom break and run back in and go. Well, they've been driving for 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
We don't know if you've got a flat tire or, like you say, the air, and it's, nobody likes to take the time to do it, but it's better to do it when you're at when you're near a restaurant or a mechanical shop than to do it when you're on top of the Rogers Pass or some pass, Wolf Creek Pass or whatever, and then you're hooped. What do you do?
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's funny you mention that, because I would say that I'm a little bit obsessive when it comes to checking my trailer. Even when I get out, like when I would stop, say, at the port of entry in Wyoming, as you know, you got to go show your IFTA when you go there. Yeah. I go in there, you're out of there in 5 minutes, but I'll still go around and check my tires and make sure no one's tampered with my back doors, and I check my kingpin to make sure no one's pulled it. And chances are that no one's done that, and out of all the time that I've done this and been checking this for years, I've never once ever had anybody pull my pin, but it'll be the one time that I won't look.
Yeah.
And someone will not like the company you're working for, or they might have an anger. Maybe you passed them the wrong way or whatever. You just don't know. People are weird or psycho. All it takes is for them to pull that pin. And that's another thing too. Really thoroughly check and make sure that your fifth wheel is in order, because there was one driver with this company where his fifth wheel was not working properly. I don't really know if the jaws would have released, but what happened is that because something went wrong, it actually locked the jaws in. He could not detach from it, which is a safety feature. But I get nervous when I see that little jaw holding that little kingpin, and that's pulling the whole trailer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
There's nothing wrong with being a little bit obsessive compulsive when it comes to that. It's never a bad idea to be extra safety minded.
Yeah. Yeah, another thing too, check your side rails on the trailer, because sometimes you'll have cracks in the side rails.
Yeah.
And with these 53 footers now, the side rails, the roof rails on the top of your trailer,
the cross beams, everything is part of the frame. And I was told by a mechanic one time when he was just going over my trailer before I pulled it out of the shop, and he said, we're going to have to put a little plate over you got a crack on the side of your rail. And I said, well, it's only a little crack. He said, under the right conditions, he said, if you hit a bump in the road, he said your trailer could break right in half. Wow.
He said it's really crucial. So you see any little cracks coming up on the side, you better do something. At least mention it to it, and again, put it on your Qualicum or in writing so that you've got your butt covered, and you know. But normally these companies they'll want to check that stuff right away. And your reefer too, you know, like you say, when you're doing your pre-trip, you get your reefer going, you see if it's going to defrost, if it's, you know, the fuel flow is good, your belts are good, there's no water leaks.
Got enough coolant?
Got enough coolant, yeah.
Coolant and oil?
Yeah, and it's, you know, because these things, you know, although it takes time when you're pre-trip to do, it really saves you hours and sometimes days in the long run because you're not broke down somewhere.
Would you say it's fair to say that there's more of a chance of a trailer that you're picking up to be a problem than obviously your regular truck, because you drive your regular truck every day, you're checking it all the time, it goes through regular maintenance probably at your yard. Right. So I would say the biggest concern would be the trailers. That's the biggest problem I see out there.
Yeah.
Bad dog tracking, and you can see the rims where there's oil all over the rims, and some guys driving down the road with the tires smoking and everything. So a lot of those trailers shouldn't even be on the road, and you see a lot of that from the trailers that come up from Mexico as well.
Yeah, and trailers, like you say, they're the most overlooked part of the equipment. Well, you know, it got in here okay, so it must be okay for me to continue on with it. And, you know, the driver that brought it in ahead of you was probably, you know, wore his rosary beads out praying that it's going to get to the yard.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just, and you know, it looks bad on you when you pull across a scale and you've got a sketchy trailer. You know, the first question they always say is, why did you leave the yard with a trailer in this shape, you know? And you don't have an answer, because you know darn well, you look at it and you think, man, oh man.
Yeah.
So.
And again, the bottom line is, driver, you are completely responsible for that trailer and the load that's inside of it. And especially how often, and this is another thing that's overlooked, which is surprising, the tires themselves. They'll go around, they'll thump them, and they'll walk around, and they're not really looking at them. I can't tell you how many trailers I have picked up in the past years where I'm like, at the company you and me worked for, what on earth, this shouldn't even be on the road. Look at these tires, man. They're bald. Oh, they still have 0.5 of a millionth of a millimeter in there. They're still legal. Okay, well, what about all the wiring hanging off of it? That's okay. All right. If you don't care, we don't care.
That's right. I picked up a trailer at our place that we worked there, and I was doing a tug test on the trailer, so I banged about, I don't know, 40 or 50 pounds, whatever your spike will load on the trailer. Didn't make a difference, just moved ahead. And I thought, well, that's weird. And the brakes were completely gone on it. They weren't they were so far gone you couldn't even set them up. So needless to say, that one didn't go on the road, at least not by me anyways.
Yeah.
But, you know.
And that and a company like that, which was real sticklers for safety, they'll run into issues like that. So what about all these other companies out there, these 2-bit trucking companies that pop up? You know, there's a different trucking company every day, ABC Trucking, you know, whatever. Are they really taking care of their equipment like that? Probably not. So, and one other thing, we're going to wrap this up too there, Glenn, that not only made sure that the equipment that you have is in good working order when you leave your yard, or if you're picking it up somewhere, keep your eyes out for the other trailers around you, because I remember one time driving down the road and I seen this trailer go by, and the guy had one of his bogies on the back of his trailer. It was going bub, 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 bub. And you know, sometimes you'll hear that when one's going by and you're like, okay, whatever. Literally, it was going blah, 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 blah. The whole tire was doing this, and I was on the radio trying to get the guy's attention. I even called the number on the side of the trailer. This guy's wheel is going to fall off. And I hit the horn, and I hit the horn, and he's waving at me. I'm like, so whatever. Called the dispatch, and the dispatch them says, yeah, we're trying to reach the driver, but he's not answering. I'm like, oh, this is not good. So you could get on the phone and call the police, but I can think of them 5 times at least that I've called the police when I've seen things like that, and they don't even respond. So Yeah, but anyway.
A lot of times what I used to do too is when you're going under an overpass is roll your window down a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you'll hear stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell guys, especially the younger guys, to want to play Led Zeppelin or whatever they play on their tapes nowadays, and they've got it cranked full volume. You can't hear stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
And like you go through those under those overpasses, and if there's something up with your trailer, you'll hear it.
You know what? That's a really excellent point you just made, because I have done that where I've heard something, because I do drive with my windows open a little bit, because there's this little annoying little thing that goes on my passenger side, and I have to have the window rolled down to drown it out, or it'll drive me nuts. Once in a while I'll hear something funny, and like you were saying, I wait until I go by these big barricades, these concrete barriers, and then I'll roll the window down more, and I'll turn everything down, and I'll listen. And sometimes I'll hear something funny, and it turned out one of my chains were dragging. But I did not hear that until I went by one of those concrete no posts, those barricades. So that is actually a really excellent point there. When you get under an overpass, or you go through a tunnel, or you are going through an area where you have those concrete barriers, roll everything down and just listen. Because if you don't, because you can hear if your chains are dragging, you can hear if something's going wrong. You can even hear an air leak. I've heard that.
I heard an air leak crossing the scale one time, and I thought, oh boy, here we go.
That's not good.
They didn't hear it, so it was okay.
Yeah.
I got it fixed down the road. But on the old Dayton wheels, when one of the tractors I drove for Reimer, they had the Dayton wheels on them, and the inside lock ring had come off, and it was just like a phone ringing when you went past something. I thought, what the heck is that? And I pulled over, and it was the lock ring that had come off. Of course, the tire was flat, and that was not a good situation. So,
wow. Yeah.
So I mean, things can happen on the road, and you just got to keep your ears and eyes open. But if you're pretty confident, and if you're not, if you're a brand new driver, get your mechanic to come out, or some other driver that's has had a few years under his belt, and say, what do you think of this? Should I be taking this? And I've always said before, you're better to lose your job than kill somebody. So if your company tells you if you don't take it, you're fired, then just say hasta la vista, baby, and move on.
Yeah, again, better safe than sorry. Make sure you thoroughly check your equipment. And like Glenn was saying, trailers are overlooked. They really are, because they figure, oh, this one just came in, it must be fine. Well, don't trust the other driver, because how many times do we deal with a trailer that's missing license plates, and one of the legs on the dolly isn't coming down or something? I mean, people, we'll leave it to the next guy. We'll let the next guy deal with that. Anything you want to...
Yeah, I was just going to say another tip too. If you're working for a company and you're afraid of losing your job, I've always said the way stations are your best friend. You can pull in and say, "Hey, my boss won't fix this. Can you do a level one on me?" And 9 times out of 10, they'll ground the equipment, and you plead ignorant over it. Otherwise, you would get fired.
Yeah.
But that's what I think, anyways, and. They can be your best friends, or a state trooper or RCMP or whatever. Just say, hey, So again, it pays to ask. It pays to report.
Yeah. Well, my friend, I think that was well said, and I hope you guys out there, the drivers out there, learned a little something about this. Or you can always contribute to a subject on the Trucker's Corner by sending your emails to truckerglenn with the number 10 at gmail.com, truckerglenn10 at gmail.com. And if you are watching us on YouTube, feel free to share the video and subscribe to the channel, and don't miss one single episode. Trucker Glenn, it's been a pleasure as usual.
Yes, it has.
You have a good one, and we'll see you soon.
You too, bye-bye.
Well, good morning, everybody. Just getting on my way to make my way to Delta, BC. We got a bit of a drive ahead of us today to go through the Rocky Mountains and Highway 1, Coquihalla Highway. We got to go all the way through today, which is no big deal. I think the weather's going to be pretty decent. We might run into a little bit of snow, but that's the time of the year it is, so we have to expect that. Should maybe get there by 7 o'clock tonight. If there's not too many holdups, if you don't run into any accidents. And running into an accident along that stretch, it's always a 50% chance of that happening just because of the inexperienced drivers that drive that lane. It's always an accident, and unfortunately a lot of the time it's a fatality. And there's always trucks involved and four-wheelers involved. So when you're on that stretch of road, you really do have to really pay attention to what you're doing. Yes, you might be a really good driver, but you better make sure you're watching around you, because the other drivers around you, a lot of them don't know what they're doing. They don't. Not the way they drive, the way they tailgate you. It is some of the worst highway in North America. It really is. Maybe even the world. As for how dangerous it is, not just because of the terrain, but because of the incompetent drivers that are out there. That's the issue. We're not fighting the elements. We're not fighting, like I said, the terrain. We're fighting incompetent, inexperienced drivers that should not be out on the highway, who drive these automatic trucks like they're cars, not realizing the amount of weight, or should I say, they're fully aware of their weight, but they're just not putting that into consideration. That you need a certain amount of time to brake a distance before you hit the guy in front of you. You need to be careful going around corners with that kind of weight. There's a lot of things to add up in that equation. Oh, great. Now we're going to get stuck in this garbage. Oh, that might have been a stupid move to come this way. Oh well. It is rush hour. Maybe we can get through here. Excuse me. Not too long of a delay.
in Golden. And it is a little sunny out here, which is nice. And you know what? We're not really running into any bad weather. Probably see some slush, whatever, on top of Rogers Pass. That's kind of normal. Not really concerned too much about that. It's kind of nice to see the or it's nice to see the snow on top of the hill, and that it is nice. I like that. Or on the top of the trees. It's beautiful. So I'm going to stop here for a second and get myself coffee. Put it in my mug, and then because this mug is amazing, it actually keeps everything really hot. I mean, phenomenally hot. These little cups at this cup. The brand is called Stanley. Yeah, it's amazing. A little further right. Wouldn't be surprised if we get a little visit from the Ravens around here. And we'll just park right here.
Unix to the last 2 and it's ready.
Alright. Come on, baby.
I'll check and I'll come right back.
Yeah, we don't have to sit here too long.
Yep. Go there.
Go get our coffee. Hey there.
Hi, good morning.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Not good? Not good. Not bad.
Bad, eh? How can I get for you, sir?
Can I get it in this, or do you need to do it? I already washed it.
Okay.
I'm going to get an extra large double decaf, please. Such pretty ladies in here.
Yeah.
My goodness. She agrees with me too.
Yes, of course.
Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
All right, so I got my coffee. This mug will actually keep it nice and hot for a while. So even if I sit down and have my lunch, it'll still be nice and hot when I come back. So I'm just going to make my way up the road to the A&W. Haven't been there in a while. And have our lunch, and then we'll get on our way. I'll save some fries in case I run into one of the Ravens. Hello, good morning. I'll have it here. I'm going to do a double teen, please.
You want fries and drinks?
Yep.
And what drink would you like, sir?
Diet root beer.
In a glass or paper cup? Roasted glass?
Yeah, I'll take that.
Anything else, sir?
Just seasoned fries? The
Extra
seasoning? Yeah. And extra pickles, please. Thank you very much. They don't have any music playing in here. I do not know why. Oh, we could park it right here. I'm just enjoying the moment. I used to spend a lot of time in Golden when I drove the BC Alberta lane. I spent a lot of time in this little area, and fond memories of when I started driving. Well, going to enjoy my meal, and then we'll get on our way. Well, friends, I am all done here. They have unloaded me. You're not allowed on the loading dock here, so if I was, I would have taken you guys inside, but they restrict the drivers to going on the loading dock, probably for safety reasons, which is fine. Yep. Wow, what a run this has been. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Like I said, California to Ontario and then back. I hope you've enjoyed it, because I'll tell you something, I really needed it. It really made a big difference, because when you're going through some struggles, whatever it might be, you need to get away. You really need a change. And this has definitely been a blessing to me. And I hope the trip has been a blessing for you guys, because so used to seeing the same routes, and you know what, my next run is going to be just like what we always do, but maybe I can change it up a bit in some way, maybe provide a little more drone footage, maybe do more sounds of the road. I know I didn't do that on this particular video, but I can change it up once in a while. But yeah, I hope you did enjoy it. But I'm going to wrap it up, because all I'm going to do is head back to the air, drop this trailer, and then I'm going to go on a reset, get my hair cut, do a few other things, get my laundry done, groceries, give the truck a bit of a detail, and then we'll be back at it again. Not sure when I'll be going back out, but probably in the next 36 hours or so. If they're busy, we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, be sure to subscribe and share the video, and do like it if you did like it, because it does help other people find it. Because when you like a video, or you subscribe it, or even if you share it, it does something with the algorithms on YouTube, and it actually puts it on other people's feeds. It recommends it to other people, and that's a great way to spread the news and spread the word of God, and I hope that you guys will participate in that. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me at truckerray7@gmail.com, truckerray7@gmail.com. Until next time, my friends, when we meet again, God bless you all in the name of Yeshua. Until then, bye for now.